Hello and welcome. We're about to tackle a really important topic, the financial scams that target millions of seniors every single year. But listen, this isn't about creating fear, it's about empowerment. In the next few minutes, we're going to give you the tools you need to spot and stop these scams cold. So let's dive right in.
So let's start with the big question, right? Why do scammers so often go after older adults? If you can understand what makes them tick, you're already halfway to building a rock-solid defense against them. And I want to be perfectly clear about this. It has absolutely nothing to do with being gullible. Scammers are predators, and they see seniors as successful targets for a few key reasons. They often have a lifetime of savings, they tend to be more trusting and polite, and sometimes, well, the scams use weird new technology that not everyone is familiar with. So yeah, it's a cold, calculated strategy on their part. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break down the 5 most common scams one by one. We'll look at how they work and, more importantly, how to shut them down. Then we'll wrap it all up with a simple 4-step defense that you can use against pretty much any scam that comes your way. First up is one of the most gut-wrenching scams out there. People often call it the grandparent scam. And it doesn't just go after your wallet. It hijacks the love you have for your family and uses it as a weapon. So it usually starts with a phone call that just sends you into a panic. The voice on the other end is upset, maybe crying. They say they're a grandchild and they're in serious trouble. Maybe they've been arrested or in an accident. And here's the really scary new twist. With AI, scammers can now take a tiny clip of your grandchild's voice from social media and clone it, making their plea for help sound unbelievably real. So let's break down how they pull this off. They trigger your fear and your natural instinct to protect your family. They create this huge crisis that only you can solve, and it has to be solved right now. The single biggest red flag? Please don't tell mom and dad. That's their way of isolating you. But the defense is actually really simple. First, create a family password, just a secret word only you all know. If the caller doesn't know it, you know it's a scam. Second, and this is the easiest one, just hang up. Then call your grandchild or their parents on the number you know is theirs. Problem solved. Okay, moving on to scam number 2. This one switches gears from tugging at your heartstrings to scaring you about your computer. It's the fake tech support scam, and it all comes down to creating panic by pretending to be someone with authority. This can start in a couple of ways. Maybe a big, loud pop-up flashes on your computer screen, yelling, "Virus detected," and gives you a number to call. Or you might just get a random phone call. The person on the other end sounds super professional, very serious, and they have a grave warning about your computer's security. They say they're here to help you. Or are they? So here's the absolute number one thing you need to remember. Microsoft, Apple, Google, none of them will ever contact you like this. Ever. They don't send pop-ups with a phone number. They don't call you out of the blue about a virus. The biggest red flag is simply that they contacted you. And the absolute line you never, ever cross, they ask to get remote access to your computer. Never let a cold caller into your computer. If a scary pop-up appears, just turn the computer off. That's it. Our third scam is, well, it might be the cruelest of them all. This isn't a quick hit. It's a long con. They spend weeks, sometimes months, building trust and affection. They call it the sweetheart swindle, or a romance scam, and it preys on a fundamental human need: connection. It almost always starts online, maybe on a dating site or through social media. And it feels completely real. They send you photos, they write these long, loving messages, and you build a real emotional bond. But then, just when you're supposed to finally meet, some kind of emergency suddenly pops up. And that's the moment the trap springs. A request for money always, always follows. This scam preys on loneliness, plain and simple. And the number one giveaway is they will always have an excuse for why they can't meet in person or even do a quick video call. They're supposedly working on an oil rig or they're in the military deployed overseas, always somewhere that's conveniently impossible to get to. So here are your defenses. Do a reverse image search on their photos. It's easy to do online, and you'll often find their pictures were stolen from some other person's real profile. And the golden rule is just this: never, ever send money to someone you have not met in the real world. All right, let's switch gears to a scam that uses pure intimidation. The government impersonator scam tries to weaponize your fear of authority. The scammers will pretend they're from the IRS, the Social Security Administration, even Medicare. Just look at this comparison because it lays out their tactics in black and white. The scammer will threaten you with immediate arrest. They'll claim your Social Security number has been suspended. They'll demand you pay up right this second. Now, here's the reality. The actual government will almost always contact you by US mail first. They will never, ever threaten you over the phone, and they will absolutely never, ever ask you to pay for anything with gift cards. I mean, come on, gift cards. So the defense here is just a simple two-step process. Step 1, hang up. Don't argue, don't get into it with them, just end the call. You're the one in control here. Step 2, verify it yourself. Go to the agency's official.gov website, make sure it ends in .gov, find their real phone number, and call them directly to ask if there's an issue. That one simple action makes the entire threat just disappear. And now for our fifth and final scam. This is the phony prize or lottery scam, and this one targets that little bit of hope we all have for a sudden, unexpected lucky break. The call or the letter sounds absolutely amazing. You've won. Millions of dollars, a brand new car, it's a dream come true. But, of course, there's always a catch, and they'll tell you what it is right in their pitch. You just have to pay a little something first. Taxes or fees to unlock your huge prize. The trigger here is obvious, right? It's excitement and hope. But the red flag is a total breakdown in logic. You should never have to pay money to get money. It just doesn't work that way. Real prizes are free. A legitimate lottery is never going to ask you to pay fees or taxes up front. The simplest defense in the world is to just ask yourself one little question. Did I even enter this contest? If the answer is no, then you already know it's a scam. Okay, so we've covered 5 very different kinds of scams, each with its own nasty little tricks. But what if there was one universal method you could use to defeat all of them? Well, there is. And this is probably the most important part of our entire chat, your 4-step defense. We call it the S.T.O.P method. First up, S is for slow down. Every single one of these scams relies on getting you into a panic. They need you to act before you have a chance to think. Your most powerful weapon against them is to just pause. Just take a deep breath. The world is not going to end if you wait 5 minutes before you do anything. And in those 5 minutes, your brain will catch up and the whole thing might start to sound pretty fishy. Next up, T is for tell someone. Scams thrive in secrecy and isolation. The moment you say the situation out loud to a friend or your kid or even a neighbor, the scam starts to fall apart. A second set of ears is like an instant scam detector. They'll ask the simple, logical questions that are impossible to think of when you're in a panic. The third step, O, is for off the phone. This is all about remembering that you are in charge. You don't owe some random person who called you your time or your attention. If a conversation feels weird or pushy or just plain wrong, you have every right in the world to end it. Just hang up the phone. It's not rude, it's just smart. And finally, P stands for protect information. This is the foundation of your defense. Your personal info, your social security number, your bank details, your passwords, that's all as good as cash. You should never, ever give that information to someone who called you out of the blue. You can call your bank, you can call your doctor, but you control the call. So there you have it, the 5 most dangerous scams and one simple method, S.T.O.P, to defeat every single one of them. Knowing this stuff is the best defense you can have. Which leaves us with just one final, really important question. Who is the first person you're going to share this with? Because when you pass this knowledge on, you're not just protecting yourself, you're helping protect everyone you care about. Thanks for joining me.